Emma Charlotte Duer Watson was born on April 15, 1990 in Paris. Her father, Chris Watson, was an Englishman. Her mother was a Frenchwoman named Jacqueline Lousby. Both parents were far from art and worked as lawyers. According to one version, the girl received a name in honor of her paternal grandmother, and according to another, in honor of a good family friend. When Emma was 5, her family broke up. Chris Watson left for his homeland, and so that the children would not lose touch with their father, Jacqueline took Emma and her younger brother Alex and moved to Oxford. Therefore, Emma spent her childhood in 2 houses, as she lived either with her mother in Oxford or with her father in London. At the age of 3, the girl fell in love with theater, and already at 7, she received her first acting award for reading poetry at a school competition among readers. For the rest of her life, Emma strived for education and achievement of goals. In an interview with GQ, she admitted that in order to get enough attention from her relatives, she had to do at least 2 things: to have a good conversation at the dinner table or to do well at school. Therefore, this became her goal as it was valued the most. In addition, Emma admitted that her father didn't know how to raise a girl. She was treated like an adult from childhood. From 1995 to 2001, Emma had been attending the Dragon School in Oxford, but never forgot her childhood dream. Seeing her desire, her mother sent Emma to the Stagecoach Theatre Arts acting school. It was there that the girl tried out the first roles on herself, playing both the evil witch Morgana in King Arthur and the Swallow from the play The Swallow and the Prince, based on the work of Oscar Wilde. Teachers of the Stagecoach Acting School saw the girl's potential and sent her portfolio to the manager, who was engaged in selection of actors for roles in the first Potter film. The girl knew about the magical world of Harry Potter even before casting. When Emma was 7, her father liked to read books to her on long car trips, and she fell in love with his story. She especially liked Hermione because she was able to see herself in the character.
I think Hermione has great charisma. You know, she's bossy, she's squatty, she's top of the class, you know, she's very, I know what I'm doing. And that is why she is so funny, and that is why her charisma and characters is just so great.
Just like the young sorceress, Emma was very fond of reading. Growing up, she even created her own book club where you can find literature about feminism and human rights. It's hard to say whether it was just luck or her talent, but Emma got a chance to try out for the role of her favorite heroine. Later, the actress admitted that she was not sure that the chosen path was the career that she would consciously want for herself. This is not surprising, given that the girl got a serious role at the age of 9. Of course, it wasn't a conscious choice. Moreover, she couldn't know what consequences it could entail. But it was this role that changed the girl's life, and overnight, Hermione literally woke up a celebrity. The future red-haired wizard was born on August 24, 1988, in the small town of Harlow. The parents named their boy Rupert Alexander Lloyd Grint. His father, Nigel Grint, owned a gift shop. His mother, Joanna Parsons, led the household and raised 5 children, among whom, in addition to Rupert, 3 younger sisters of the future actor grew up: Georgina, Samantha, Charlotte, and brother James. When the boy was 12, his parents divorced. In the elementary Catholic school named after St. Joseph, the boy became interested in amateur performances, which he showed to the younger children in his family. The boy became seriously interested in theater. He enrolled in the Top Hat Stage School and even participated in school productions, among which was the role of a fish in a play about Noah's Ark. Unlike his screen hero, Grint grew up as a very obedient child. Then the boy entered Richard Hale Secondary School in Hertfordshire. His red, unruly hair always attracted attention. His great-grandfather nicknamed him Copper Knob, and his friends at school called him Ginge, short for Ginger. Like Emma, Rupert was familiar with the world of Potter even before the casting. By this point, 3 books had already been written, and Grint himself was a fan of the young wizard's adventure. He was especially impressed by the red-haired Ron, in whom the future actor recognized himself.
Reading the book, I just always saw myself in him in quite a deep way. I think because he's just very real. I think
Therefore, when he found out that a set of actors of the film adaptation of Rowling's novel have been announced, the boy decided to try his luck. Grint's first attempt failed. He didn't receive an answer, But Rupert didn't give up and approached the question in a very unusual way. The boy received an invitation to audition. He became the envy of red-haired boys all over the world. And his life, in his own words, was divided into the period before and after. Daniel Jacob Radcliffe was born on July 23, 1989 at Queen Charlotte's and Chelsea Hospital in Hammersmith, West London. He is the only child of Marcia Janine Gresham and literary agent Alan George Radcliffe. From an early age, Daniel showed his interest in acting. When he was 5, his mother brought him to a comedy production. He recalled turning to her and saying, "I want to be an actor." And she, being a former actress from personal experience, replied, "No, you do not want to do that." Daniel stopped thinking about it for a while. The reason for such categoricalness of his mother was the peculiarity of the boy. Daniel had been suffering from dyspraxia since childhood. The disease manifested itself in problems with coordination, speech disorders, and learning difficulties. Marcia worked as a casting agent for BBC Productions. Once, there was an audition for the role of David Copperfield for BBC One, and she was offered to bring Daniel. Maybe he can have an audition, just as a complacency he tried, she thought. So at the age of 10, the actor made his debut in the 2-part adaptation of Charles Dickens' novel David Copperfield in 1999, portraying the main character as a child. Immediately after that, in 2001, Daniel made his feature film debut, The Tailor of Panama, based on the 1996 spy novel by John Le Carré. By that time, one major director had already become interested in Daniel Radcliffe, and fate was already preparing a big surprise for the boy. But more on that later. His education faded into the background. For all that time, Daniel studied at 3 independent schools for boys in London: Radcliffe School, Sussex House School, and the City of London School. It was because of his acting career, which began to develop at a rapid pace. It was hard for Dan to study. Many classmates began to treat the boy with hostility after the release of his next film. They bullied him and felt jealous. What exactly was this movie? It wasn't easy to get into the world of Harry Potter. By the time of wizard selection for the world of magic, the book was a huge success among children and young people, and therefore there were plenty of people who wanted to impress everyone at the casting. The 4th part of the series was on the way, and Rowling accepted an offer from Warner Brothers about the film adaptation, putting forward a number of conditions, including personal control of the casting selection process. In addition, it was required to take exclusively British school kids between ages of 9 and 11 for the roles. The audition took place in several stages. First, potential wizards had to read their own chosen page from Harry Potter. After that, they should stage an impromptu arrival at the School of Magic, and in conclusion, to play out several pages of the script. Therefore, each of the contenders were seriously prepared. As you probably understand, Emma Watson thoroughly approached the auditions. At the same time, the girl didn't fully believe that she would be able to get the coveted role, because she had to compete with hundreds of contenders for the place of Hermione Granger. It's interesting that Watson was also supported by the author of the children's book about the wizard, J.K. Rowling, who liked the girl. For filming, the young actress had to dye her hair brown, as the girl was originally a blonde. In an interview in 2014, she said that, in her opinion, she was chosen because she was obsessed with the role of Hermione. Rupert also kept up and knew the entire Potter book by heart. That's why he went through the next stages of casting rather quickly. By the way, like his hero, the actor is terribly afraid of spiders. They say he couldn't watch the second part of the Harry Potter movies because of this. He is a unique caricature artist and can create any solid impression within 60 seconds. The selection of an actor for a key role was more difficult. Rowling was looking for an unknown British actor to play the boy, and he had to have blue eyes. It's been 9 months, 16,000 applicants were selected by this moment for the role of Harry, but nobody fit. It got to the point that they began to joke on the set and said, "We'll shoot a film without Harry Potter." The film's director, Chris Columbus, recalled thinking, "This is what I want. This is Harry Potter," after seeing a video of the young actor in David Copperfield. Initially, Dan's parents were against it, and producer David Heyman had to try hard to persuade them to let his son go to the audition. After several auditions, Radcliffe was chosen for the role. J.K. Rowling supported this choice, stating, "I don't think Chris Columbus could have found a better Harry." After passing the audition, the guys were introduced to each other. It was these three who would work together on the set for the next 12 years, going through hard work and a lot of impressions. They should support each other and, in the end, become a family. Immediately after the approval of the future wizards, the group photo of this trio was captured, and then it was posted on the internet with the news that the candidates had been selected.
And got the first part I ever auditioned for. I mean, it's so bizarre and otherworldly what happened to me.
Initially, they signed a contract with young actors only for the first 2 movies, and therefore the film crew had to constantly review the working conditions of the guys. The filming was intense, but passed quite calmly. Chris Columbus strongly supported the young actors, and Daniel in particular. They had enough free time while preparations were made and scenes with other actors were filmed. Dan said more than once that Columbus was the perfect fit, as he was great at working with kids and charging them with enthusiasm.
He was amazing with us. I don't think anybody else could have got the enthusiasm out of us 3 kids.
He's just the nicest guy in the world.
It wasn't without mischief. Daniel made fun and grimaced at the camera and also arranged pranks on the set. For example, he took co-star Robbie Coltrane's cellular phone and changed it so all the messages were in Turkish.
Dan, say, I can't look at you right now. I'm looking at the grass.
Grass is more important than camera. Go away.
Dan once scared the makeup department crew when he came on set with bloodied sticking plasters on his face, claiming that he had been fighting the previous day. Rupert Grint also recalled his first filming experience with admiration. In the first 2 films, Emma was called one take due to her ability to act out her scenes in one go. The girl was so passionate about her work that she learned not only her role, but also the words of her colleagues. Due to the fact that in the frame she spoke the lines of the other kids, the operator had some troubles.
This is actually quite traumatic for me because I created issues because of this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What
because
issues?
I would ruin takes. Chris would be like, cut, Emma, you're doing it again.
Grint at first didn't know how to behave in the frame. His roles were not easy for him, and it was hard for him to act out the scene for one take. They used to call me Go Again Grint because I could never do anything without doing it like 20 times, the actor confessed. In addition, until the last films, Grint couldn't help laughing in serious scenes. For example, during the funeral of Dumbledore.
Me and Dan were notoriously pretty bad. I mean, it was ever we kind of had a scene together.
On November 4th, 2001, the premiere of the movie Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, expected by thousands of J.K. Rowling fans around the world, took place. The picture broke the records of one-day box office ticket sales in the United States and was met with enthusiasm, both among viewers and critics. Many highly appreciated the incarnations of Rowling's heroes. For example, John Hiscock of the Daily Telegraph lauded the wonderful Radcliffe and the great performances of Grint and Watson. Jay Boyer from the Orlando Sentinel described the film's casting as to the point, highlighting both the child actors and the outstanding and terrific adult cast. The New Yorker said that the young actors were credible, particularly Emma Watson. The picture raised $1 billion, was nominated for an Oscar 3 times, and got a whole collection of prestigious awards. In 2002, the film Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was released. The studio had to shoot it quickly because the children were growing up. The film won the Broadcast Music Incorporated Film and TV Awards for Best Family Film and grossed $878 million, a significant return on investment. The lives of the guys changed after the filming of Potter, but their parents tried to do everything so that the children didn't get sick with starstruck. In an interview, Watson admitted that she still had to do household chores and keep an eye on her younger brother. Parents tried to raise her as modestly as possible, and even after her name became known, they tried to treat both children equally. The biggest compliment I've ever had, getting ready for a premiere or whatever, is that I scrub up all right, she said. Perhaps it was this approach to education that led to the fact that for 2 decades, not a single scandal happened with the actress. The film adaptation of Rowling's work was such a success that the creators decided to shoot 6 more pictures in addition to the first 2 ones. The main characters quickly became celebrities.
The cameras, the flashing, it was just scary.
It was? Did a lot of people stop you and ask you for your autographs?
Yes, that's weird.
Grint recalled how the first days of fame inspired him. He first felt this when, after filming the first movie, he returned to school for his exams and the whole class greeted him with a standing ovation. The childhood of the actors ended there. For almost 11 months a year, they were busy on the set, and in between the periods of filming, they tried to gnaw the granite of science. However, the implementation of the third film was postponed for some time. Daniel's parents wanted their child to be able to go to school at least for a while and study as a common kid. For this purpose, the children were allocated 4 hours a day for learning. However, it was not possible to combine study with work, frankly. Radcliffe continued his education through on-set tutors. The actor has admitted to not being a very good student, considering school useless and finding the work really difficult. Later in 2006, Daniel achieved A grades in the 3 AS-level exams that he took, but decided to take a break from education and didn't attend university. Grint also found the school program very difficult, but Emma did quite well. In order to act, the actress transferred to the Headington School for Girls, which she graduated remotely. She devoted 5 hours every day to cramming the school curriculum, and in 2006, she received a certificate full of A grades. In 2008, Emma decided to improve her professional skills and completed a summer acting course at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. The next step was admission to Brown University, where she received a bachelor's degree in English literature. After filming in the 5th part of the Harry Potter series, the Trinity became so famous that they were honored to leave their hand and footprints on the famous Avenue of Stars in Hollywood. But in the same period, the young wizards ran out of steam. Before the university entrance exams, there were rumors that Emma was not going to play in the 6th part of the saga. "I didn't want to be completely dependent on the filming process for the next 3 years," she said in an interview. But representatives of Warner Brothers still managed to convince her to stay. They say that the size of the actress's fee and the huge support of the fans played an important role in this. Rupert Grint told something similar. After filming Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the actor doubted whether to continue. It didn't get any easier. One of the most difficult was the film adaptation of Rowling's last book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which consisted of 2 parts. The film director, David Yates, put the actors in rather tense conditions: constant lack of sleep due to a busy schedule, exhaustion, and shooting in difficult conditions. Watson and Grint got a lot of scenes in which they had to be wet and cold. When the girl shared her problems with Yates, the director assured her that her emaciated state looked great on camera. The scene where Harry's friends drink a potion to become visual clones of him and help protect him required as much as 95 takes. To make matters worse, Daniel Radcliffe had to imitate the movement patterns of each of the actors and make the scene more believable. Grint also admitted that filming was sometimes too difficult. Grint, Radcliffe, and Watson became very close because they shared this experience together. However, when the trio wasn't on the set, they rarely hung out together. Despite their shared affection for each other, they needed some much-needed time apart after the completion of each film. By the way, the guys left a few relics after filming as a reminder of a great period of their lives. So Watson admitted that she took the wand, the time wheel, and the cloak. Radcliffe took his glasses, wand, and many other Hogwarts paraphernalia. Grint acted differently. He slowly stole interesting gizmos on the set. For example, the number of the Dursleys' house or the Golden Dragon's egg was estimated at several $1,000s. The egg, however, had to be returned. Well, Rupert was in his repertoire. The famous franchise brought fame and money to the young actors, but as usual, it also had negative consequences. Filming absorbed almost all of their free time, and therefore the actors had practically no childhood and were forced to sacrifice a significant part of their personal lives. In an interview with Vogue, Emma shared that one of the films in the franchise distracted her during an intimate moment. One of the movies appeared in the background on TV, and it made the actress feel uncomfortable. Also, it didn't go without the molestation of paparazzi who watched the young wizards day and night in order to find out all the details of their personal and professional lives. Daniel even found a way to deal with them. For a while, he wore the same jacket and cap so that the paparazzi couldn't take new photos. Harry Potter influenced the rest of the lives of the actors.
It was a very kind of overwhelming time. Just suddenly everything changed, and then after that, nothing was ever the same.
Crowds of fans pursued the guys who became a living embodiment of a dream for the audience. Later, Emma admitted she was still afraid to go out for a walk down the street or ride a train. Daniel stated that some people would never be able to separate him from the Harry Potter character. However, he said he was proud to be associated with this film series forever. Dan suffered from fame the most. While working on the last part of the saga, he became very addicted to alcohol. At the same time, the actor drank both during the filming and when the shooting ended. Daniel said that he began to abuse for a completely banal reason. He couldn't stand the fame that fell on him. His every step was watched, and to cope with constant tension, he started to drink a lot. A sense of responsibility was added since by the time The Deathly Hallows came out, the guy had become the breadwinner of the family. He felt the uncertainty of the future because the saga was coming to an end. At the same time, he was seized by panic, since the actor didn't know at all what to do next, but he only felt comfortable when he was drunk. But we must give Daniel his due. He always behaved politely on the set without manifestations of star disease. Radcliffe proved himself to be an extremely reliable actor and only took 2 days off during the entire 10 years of filming. But the obvious advantage of taking part in the franchise, of course, was that the young actors weren't afraid of poverty. Emma Watson earned $80 million from all 8 movies, while her pay for the first 4 Harry Potter movies isn't known. Celebrity Net Worth reports that Watson made $4 million for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in 2007 and a combined $30 million for the last 2 Harry Potter movies, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in 2010 and 2011. In an interview, Emma admitted that she didn't know until the age of 18 how much she earned on the Harry Potter films. Her father told her about this when he considered that the girl was old enough. Prior to this, she was only given $75 per week as a weekly allowance. After her real income was revealed to her, Watson was able to afford her first major expenses. In a 2009 interview, she recalled that she was able to buy herself a laptop, take her father on vacation to Tuscany, and later buy herself a car. Rupert Grint got a little less than Emma. In total, for 8 films, he earned $60 million. But unlike the actress, he was less bothered about how to spend his savings. In one of the interviews, he admitted that he didn't understand what to do with this money. It was quite overwhelming, he said. Rupert's first purchase was an ice cream van, which he had dreamed of since his early childhood. In one of the interviews, he admitted that he still periodically traveled around the neighborhood and distributed ice cream to children for free. The second purchase of the young actor was a hovercraft, which he never mastered, admitting that he once almost died on it. When the guy turned 16, he bought himself a farm, a real farm with a lake, a herd of pigs, and a golf course. However, colleagues who know him very well were not surprised by Rupert's purchases.
Basically has done, with his money what the rest of us would have done with our money, what we said we'd all do when we were 7, and just have the kind of Willy Wonka house.
I'm really happy. I'm really pleased
we
about that.
We always make jokes about Rupert because we always
He's
think
living the dream.
He is living the dream, and we always say he gets out of bed, just into the water flume, down to the breakfast table. That's how he sort of travels around his house.
Daniel earned the most. His total earnings were about $109 million. Later, the actor admitted that he was terrible at splashing the cash and didn't attach much importance to his money. He also told the Belfast Telegraph that he would like to be careful with his money so that he could freely choose any roles he liked, since money implied a significant amount of freedom. Radcliffe spent his savings mainly on real estate and his collection of contemporary art, arguing that it was art that was worth spending a round sum on. A specially made Savior mattress for £12,500 sterling is his most non-standard purchase. However, the Boy Who Lived franchise came to an end, and it was time to move on.